All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to Lollicasters podcast. I am Dave the Fox.
I am Tony the goat with the most.
And I'm Mike the Panda.
All right, we have a pretty fun podcast lined up today. Lately, Mike's been getting more and more firearms, and Tony's over there. He knows how to fix this and that. He can pick a lock faster than you can snap your fingers. And I am learning Japanese, which has nothing to do with this podcast, but we're all sharing. And I figured today would be a pretty fun day to talk about like Armageddon preparedness. Like, I don't want to say doomsday. Armageddon has way more gravity to it. So, bless you. In the event of an Armageddon, depending on the Armageddon, obviously, what are we going to do, first of all? Where are we going to go? How are we going to get there? And what are our lives going to be like when the eventual wasteland hits us? So, I think this will be a pretty fun one. Tony, first of all, let's establish the type of aftermath, the type of Armageddon we're going to face, because there are millions. There's zombies, there's nuclear winter, there's desert wasteland.
Yeah.
So which one are we talking about today, Tony?
Well, I think any of those scenarios would actually make the human race extinct, pretty much. If you go nuclear wasteland, well, they got enough nukes to blow up the whole damn world.
Right.
So we're all dead in the first place.
Right.
Asteroid hits, we're dead anyways.
Okay.
I would say let's go for a virus attack.
Okay, so
some kind of
how about
virus
let's talk about maybe if it's a zombie apocalypse, because that would be the closest to.
I want to do realistic.
I think it'd be realistic for a contagion to wipe out most of the population.
Right.
Right.
Okay, fine. Contagion, whatever. Contagion. Let's do a virus or a bacteria, something like that wipes out a lot of people real quick. And then what do? While it's happening, while the mass panic is happening. Because honestly, I don't think the virus would kill as many people while the actual apocalypse is happening. I think what would kill more people is the mass panic and then frantic running around.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's go to Tony first. What are your plans for a virus Armageddon?
Well, in the first kind of thing, I do have somewhat not well prepared, like you see on preppers and TV and stuff like that. I do have something prepared not as far as a good bug out bag, but just I know what I need. I have a 72-hour food pack that I got offline, which I have available to me.
Have you tested that out?
No. I'm kind of saving it, but before, it's kind of one of the deals too where my brother's in the military, so one year he gave me a crap load of MREs.
I see. And for those of you who don't know, hang on. For those of you guys who don't know, that's military rations, like little food packets. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, just for the hell of it, I decided to eat that stuff for a week. And by the time I got done with it, it wasn't the most savory-ish food in the whole world, but, I was full. I was good. I was healthy. And I had plenty left over even from that. So I still do have some left over. So,
all right, because that's a really good idea to do, because if you have one of those things like 72 hours and all that, you don't know how much you'll eat in a day. Like, compared to that, so they don't know how much you're going to eat in a day. Most people consume calories at a different rate. I eat a ton compared to most people. I can eat less, but to be comfortable, I generally eat about twice as much as the average person. So
and that's one of the things with the MREs too, is they're designed for a soldier that's going to be in high combat situations and stuff like that, where you need a lot more protein and stuff like that, where I didn't eat nearly as much as the common soldier would eat.
Right.
So therefore, I had leftovers, and I would save the leftovers.
And those are protein heavy meals, I would assume.
Oh, very, very protein heavy.
Okay, yeah. So everybody knows you eat less if you try to eat like say a pound of beef versus a pound of broccoli or something. It's going to be easier to eat the broccoli than it is the meat because protein is more satisfying to your stomach because it's essentially what you're made out of, and that's why if you eat a lot of protein stuff, like if you eat nuts or something, you'll feel full faster than if you eat, say, broccoli or fruit. All right, go ahead, Mike, Tony.
Yeah, if you eat a lot of protein, it releases hormones that tell you to stop eating.
Right, that's essentially what I just said. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
He did more scientific.
Yeah.
We don't Mythbusters on our ass.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for breaking it down for anybody who needs a college course in this.
I got to use my biochem degree for something.
Yeah, I suppose. So, all right.
And, as far as it goes, too, what I have in my pack would be some rope, duct tape, a hatchet, stuff to make a fire.
Do you have water?
A tarp. Yeah, water.
Okay. How much water do you have?
I don't know. I'd probably bring like a bottle or whatever. I mean, at that point,
you're dead.
Where I'm situated at, us having a major breakout is on the low likely side.
Right. And I mean, Minnesota up into Canada would be, you'd figure that'd be less affected because a lot of viruses cannot survive deep cold. So if you hit winter and you can survive that shit, you're fine.
Well, and that's another thing too is with me, wherever I go on a trip, even in the vehicle to see somebody, I have my Carhartts with, I have my boots. I mean, I have it basically meant where I can, if I go off in the road into the ditch and no one feels like stopping, which is completely ludicrous because Minnesota nice, I could, survive overnight, probably I'd say in minus 20-degree weather. If it was 30 or 40, there would be problems there, but I would say I can survive in minus 20 to 30-degree weather. And not comfortably, but I can survive.
Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't sound like a bad one. How about you, Mike? Let's get into all of our ideas for let's call it the bug out bag or the initial stuff that you have, and then we'll talk about different aspects and all that stuff. How about Mike? What's up?
Well, I mean, I don't really have a bug out bag. Like, I've got a bunch of guns, and so kind of my plan would be to kind of like I would distribute my guns to my roommates, and then I don't know. I'd probably try to meet up with my family because they've got more guns. So we would have a lot of guns, and then we probably try to like negotiate water and stuff, maybe.
Negotiate at the barrel of a gun. I mean, with them at the barrel of a gun, not you. That's a good way to negotiate.
Well, I see, this is one of the things, too, is where I don't see the apocalypse or the end of the world really coming this way where it comes down to this. I see where the biggest thing is like when the grid starts going off, when transportation starts getting cut off, when gas runs out, stuff like that.
Right. Well, I wouldn't try to negotiate, I wouldn't try to, strong arm people out of food at the beginning because, I think the more people you can get working together, the better your chance of surviving is. And, I got family members who are very good at, dealing with people and negotiating and stuff.
I suppose that's true.
If I could hook up with them, we'd have a lot better chance of surviving. And then if we do have to fight, we got enough firepower to take out a small army.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a pretty good little plan, and you can fight your way over to food and all that stuff. That's not bad. Okay. I'm probably the least prepared out of all three of us to survive this because, again, I'm in Japan. I'm in the middle of the metropolitan area. I would have to fight all those people just to get shit because if you're in a small area, I think it's about a few thousand people, it's still kind of neighborly, so you kind of know each other and you know your neighbor and all that stuff. So there was a little bit more of a familiar bond there. Even if it's not a traditional family, you still have that tie. Once you get above I'd say about 50,000 people, that all goes away. My neighbors, if I were in this situation with my neighbors, they would kill me or I would kill them without even a second look. Like, I'm pretty sure we don't know each other well enough to even give a shit. But I do have, I have 2 large, I think they're 2 liters apiece, so about 4 liters of fresh water in water bottles. I use those to lift, but in case of an emergency, like an earthquake or something, I have water to get me going. I have a few little food things here and there, but nothing like substantial. But I figured if shit hits the floor, or the fan, probably that's worse, I'd probably just go next door because there's a small grocery store, and I would just steal. I would just take whatever. I don't give a shit at that point. Like, if society's crumbling, and I would assume it's crumbling at that point, I would just run in there, grab a bunch of shit. The people who work there are not strong enough to stop me, so they wouldn't stop me. And I would take a lot of food with me. Probably some ham and stuff at first. A lot of nuts. I'd go for nuts like crazy. I'd go nuts for nuts. Let's see. Anything that would last a while. So peanut butter. I'll have peanut butter. That's fine too. Bread. That'll work. That'll be okay. The rice over here actually lasts a very long time. And then the second place I'd go right after is I would go straight over to, let's see, there's a larger store there. I would not go in there because everybody'd go there. What I would do is I'd go in, I'd break into like the Nissan dealership because I'm near a bunch of car dealerships. And I would, I'd get the keys to one of those vehicles. Even if I can't drive it out of town, I can still drive it to a less populated area to find a grocery store or something like that to get myself going. Because if we're in an emergency situation, I don't give a shit about the whole paying thing. I'm going in there. I'm getting my fucking food in that car. I'm going. I really don't have too many ties in Japan. I have a few friends. I'd probably go try to see if I could find my Navy buddy, but he'd already be killing everybody left, right, and center. He would just he's looking out for his family and himself. That's it. So I'm pretty sure if I showed up, he would probably either shoot me on sight or we'd be buddies for forever. There's only 2 ways that could go. So I'd find him, maybe, and then we would kind of, I don't know, find our way out of Tokyo somehow. But so you guys know, if there's a giant virus or something in Tokyo, we're fucked. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to run. People trying to flee the highway would just jam the highway, and then there's nowhere to go there unless you're one of the first couple thousand out. Then you're probably okay. Or on a motorcycle, that'd probably work, but more than likely to jam everything up. I guess anybody with a pilot's license would be okay. Don't really know about that, but the rest of Tokyo would be fucked, is what I'm saying. Unless you could hike. Like, my big thing that would keep me alive at best is I can walk/run forever. And it doesn't bother me at all. So if I have enough food, I can just keep going. So I'd probably hike for a few days to the west with a knife or something. I don't know. I'd probably find a knife. But
well, I think with me, I'm up in northern Minnesota where we don't have. There's towns around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the first places I would hit up would be probably a Army Navy store.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there'd be some people in there or whatever. But I'd collect my shotgun up. It's meant for grouse hunting, but I can put a turkey choke on it, and it'll take down a nice little sapling.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be good for defense. And then in the Army Navy store, they're going to have everything you really need there for survival purposes.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that goes, I would stay a mile away from Walmart because everyone's going to be there.
Oh, yeah. Everyone and their grandma's going to Walmart.
Right. You're like, oh, let's loot this store, and it'll be worse than Black Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Call it Virus Friday or whatever. But
it would be the Blacker Friday.
It'd be a death trap.
And honestly, what I would do is
Hang on. There's a helicopter flying over above us, over above me.
Oh, geez, is it black?
No,
I don't hear it.
Oh, you don't? Okay, good.
Not
It was
really.
outside. There's a low hum. I don't know if that picked up on the mic or not, but it's fine.
No,
Yeah. So
But
keep going.
what I would do is, and then after that, head to probably a forest state park. Set up a shelter. And this is very varying too. Where does it happen in the winter or the spring or the summer or fall? Because that's very important up here.
Right. Here too, like if it's wintertime, I'm good. Like actually, I think your and my advantageous times are the opposite. Because if it's winter over here, I'm fine. Everybody else will be freezing their asses off in 14-degree Celsius in about 40-degree Fahrenheit weather. I'm fine. I don't need a jacket or anything, so I'll be all right. So I can hike and I can do whatever I want. I can figure out how to fish. I know where to go. For that kind of shit, I have a map. I can read directions. Like, I can tell, north, south, east, west in the wintertime or the summer. It's fine. I'm just saying there's going to be so many people. That's what's going to stop me.
Should we, like, talk about, like, ridiculous situations now? Like, fantasy stuff we probably wouldn't do, but would like to do just for the hell of it?
Okay, all right. Well, in this situation, we would have to be together in, like, let's imagine we're all in the same area. What would happen if this happened?
Town.
Yeah, we're all
same town.
Let's say we're in, let's say northern or central Iowa or something. Maybe something like Minnesota, southern Minnesota.
So like, let's like say you were visiting, and then visiting Iowa, and the apocalypse happened, and then we met up with Tony.
Yeah, that's it. That's the situation. Yeah. Tony's visiting us. We're talking with him,
now,
and
here's a question: Would you want to come see me, or would you want me to come down there?
Well, I'm setting it all up. I'm setting the whole thing up right now.
I'm saying it's more strategic to be up in northern Minnesota than it is to be in southern Minnesota, Iowa.
I think it's more advantageous to be in Iowa, and I'm explaining why.
Okay. Well, you explain why, and then I'll explain why. How's it?
Okay. Fine. All right. We set up. This by the way, everybody, this is 100% fantasy land where we're setting it up for ourselves. All strategies and plans are perfect until the first thing goes wrong, and then the rest of it goes wrong, basically. So, anywho, the situation is Tony is visiting Iowa, and let's say it's fall. It's fall, so it's kind of cold out. It's a little bit chilly. For Tony, he's probably just wearing a t-shirt or a tank top because it's probably warm for him. And then this virus happens. It wipes a bunch of people out. It's not airborne. It's through contact. So any major city's fucked. But we're in Sheraton, which is a relatively small town. It's only about 5,000 people, and there are plenty of farms all around. So what we would do is we would probably grab my folks, Mike's parents and stuff, head on over to, let's see here. There's a pretty good state park in northeastern Iowa, and we could easily drive that in, not Mike's car, but in probably my mom's Lexus. Is there? Easy enough?
We could probably do like a caravan kind of. Bunch of vehicles.
Oh, probably
together.
Probably, yeah. And my oldest brother has an Avalanche, so it's like a nice big old truck. So we'd have the muscle, torque to push anything out of the way and all that. We would not hit a Walmart, as Tony, very wisely said. Don't go to Walmart. We wouldn't even go to Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store.
If we wanted to be like just crazy about it, like we would probably have enough firepower that we could probably just take out any opposition.
Okay, fine. Then we would all line up, and so everybody, all the guys in my family, or at least in town, know how to fire a rifle. We all know how to fire a 22 or a shotgun or something. We know it so well that you just give us a gun and we could fire it. So we would have between all
if you give me a 50 cal, I'll be a happy boy.
All right, so between all of us, we would have the firepower to just wipe out a Walmart. Okay, So then if we're going to Walmart first, we'd go to the Walmart in Knoxville, which is a half-hour away. And we would just wait outside the Walmart for people to just walk out, and we just clip them. Don't go in.
Definitely set up a perimeter first. So that...
Oh yeah. Set our caravan up like a caravan from the Old West. So circle the wagon, so to speak, and just anybody that walks out, they go down. And then once everybody's gone, we go in, raid that shit, and we go up to a state park. Fine. And the state parks in Iowa are fantastic because there's at least 2 or 3 like cabin areas that you can go. And northwestern Iowa is better because then you're close to.
Guys, pause.
Yo.
For 1 second here. You remember how I was saying like I got a new lock I was working on?
Yeah.
I just picked stage 4.
Oh shit.
I skipped stage 3. I picked stage 4, so I feel pretty happy about that. And I gotta tell somebody.
Well, that's cool. You know I'm gonna cut this out of the stream.
Yeah, you can if you want.
I'm going to. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, Tony.
Actually, yeah, it kind of does.
It does.
I mean, it kind of does because we could use lockpicking skills.
Okay, fine. Fucking fine. Tony got lockpicking skills. Cool.
If we don't want to, like, take the time to
just break a window.
We can't brute force our way for whatever reason. Lockpicking skills would come in handy.
That's right. And if Tony has his lockpicking set, and if there's no window to break.
I mean, he probably would have his lockpicking set.
You know what I would say is one occasion I could think about the whole thing which you guys are discussing is LP gas outside of a gas station.
Okay.
You know, that'd be something viable that we could use or whatever.
Okay. Well, yeah, we could also. Well, yeah. I mean, you could pick the lock for the propane tanks. That'd be good.
Another thing I'd bring too would be my ham radio.
Well, you also have ham radio. Okay, Tony has his ham radio too. Sure. Anyway, we're headed up to northwestern Iowa because there's a nice river there. That's where I think that's where the Missouri starts. But there's a huge lake there on the border between South Dakota and Iowa. Really nice. So we could fish there. We could hunt there. There's a nice big open area. There are a lot of. I mean, you could see 360 degrees if you're in the right spot. So it's a good vantage point to see anybody coming. We could easily keep our food cold if we have anything that needs refrigerating for a bit. Of course, we'd have freeze-dried stuff too, but still. Anywho, let's see here. And after the dust settles, now this is crazy fantasy land. But after the dust settles, once the human race, or at least in North America, is in tatters, this is what we do. With Tony's ham radio, we connect with anybody else who has a radio frequency around us, calling out about how we have the answer. We are the Salvation. Our name is the Salvation, actually. That's our group name. Let's see here. Tony or Mike can come up with the colors and the symbol. Figured we would do something closer to like the Methodist cross, where it's a cross with 2 flames coming off. It kind of looks pretty majestic. And when people show up, Mike knows the Bible well enough to pick little pieces out that we could use as the opiate for the masses, and we would convince everyone around us that through us we will find the answers. Okay? And
ours is the way.
Yeah. Our God is the way. Tony, obviously, you got the ham radio. You can fix stuff. You can pick locks. You're the engineer guy. That's what you are. We'll figure out how to put up a forge somewhere so that you can make bullets for our guns, right? We'll also have knives because we're not fucking stupid. If you're out of bullets, you can still have a knife.
He could also teach everybody how to hunt and stuff.
That's right. He could teach everybody how to hunt with a knife. Okay, because it turns out that the Lord thinks that knife hunting is way more noble than shooting him with a gun. But we can do it because we are the voice of God and the hand of God. So if we shoot something, God killed it.
No, we want our cultists to actually survive, though.
Well, they'd survive. People survived without guns for a while. So
I know, but like at first, people are going to be retarded.
Okay,
Like,
we will pick a few select
like
that will be our
I would
cherubs.
personally know how to hunt with a knife.
What?
I don't know if I would know how to hunt with a knife.
We could figure it out. We could.
I would think you'd be able to take a knife and put it on the end of a stick and tie it on there.
Make a spear.
Spears.
I know it'd be super inefficient though.
But my point is, we don't want them to figure out how to shoot us, Mike.
Oh.
This is why I'm the figurehead, okay?
That's why yeah.
Like, you're
you'd be the actual lead.
Well, yeah. Oh, actually, Mike, let's see here. I would be the actual leader. Mike would, yeah. Okay, Mike, like, we'd all be leaders, obviously. We'd set ourselves up as, like, the top 3, because this has to be a pyramid with 3 points. Anywho, but we would teach them all how to hunt with... Okay, we'll figure out bows and arrows, too, because there's going to be bows and arrows up there, obviously.
Well, what we could do is we could just say, oh, we need to, like, conserve ammo as much as we can.
Right.
Meanwhile, Tony is, like, stockpiling the shit out of it, so that if they do rise up against us, we're prepared.
Okay, that's a good idea.
We have a group of closely knit followers, like, that we can trust, and they have guns.
Yeah.
That would protect us.
That's right. And that would actually be our family, because your family, my family, we'd have that. And then we could set up raiding parties. They don't have to hunt exactly. I mean, they could go to nearby towns. There will still be stuff there. And they can pull stuff out. And just the rule is, firearms go to us, because the Lord says it's holier to kill somebody with a knife, because you have to see the soul leave their eyes.
Oh, wow.
Like Vikings. That's how it is.
Or what we could do is we could give raiding parties like a couple bullets, so that if they really need to, they can take someone out. And then, but when they come back, we're gonna count him. We're gonna search him.
Well, what we do is we have we call them platoons. And we have a platoon leader. And the platoon leader is specially ranked. He had to work his ass off to get there. It's merit-based. And he has to really believe in us leaders to get this opportunity to get a gun. He gets a gun. He gets a handgun, okay? And a tattoo. We're going to tattoo a handgun on his arm. And you're going to learn how to do a tattoo, Mike or Tony. Either one. I think Mike has a better artist hand, but we're going to tattoo the guy with a gun, or better yet, Tony, we're going to figure out a brand. We're going to figure out a brand that has a shape of a gun, and we're going to brand his arm.
Brand people now.
I feel like a tattoo would be more palatable, easier to...
brand would be faster.
To accept. Yeah, but I think a tattoo would be easier to accept, and it wouldn't be hard to, like, jerry-rig something. Like, if you could, like, get charcoal and just like poke people with, like, break the skin and then rub charcoal into it, that'd be enough to do a tattoo.
Okay, well, there you go. See, that's why you're the tattoo guy. So, and let's see here. So we tattoo that guy with a handgun or a gun on his arm, so he feels like, oh yeah, I'm really doing something. I'm a guy. And we have to make sure that those platoon leaders are, like, honored. Like, they're like gladiators in the arena. Like, they're fucking badass. Everybody wants to be those guys. So that way they have no incentive to overthrow us, because they have something to lose.
Yeah.
You need to give them a little bit of hope. Also, their firstborn comes to live at our compound. Because that way we have devotees. I mean, their sons or their kids are in love with us, and they grow up with the knowledge that we are the best. Those kids, and also if those
platoon training,
and if those platoon leaders cross us, we have a hostage.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually a historical thing. In Japan, in the feudal Japan, the daimyo,
that's cult 101 is you take the children hostage.
Right, it's real easy. But, like, let's see here, and let's see.
Cult 101. Mike, have you written a book about cults?
No, we're writing it now, Tony. We're writing it right now.
Okay.
I've watched enough, like, what's the show called? Criminal Minds. Where they, like, go into a cult and, like, the cult has the children hostage all the time.
I see. Well, but it's not. We're not going to tell them it's for hostage. We're going to say it's like it's a higher honor or whatever, and then
we're going to give them medication to cure them from the disease or something.
That's right. Like through our holiness.
It's like they've been selected for like special training, special religious.
Right, but we actually teach them your doctrine, so then they start to teach things. Because the way we do it is we want to make sure that they think that's the way it is, and that's the way it should be from as young as possible. That way we have a small band that's around us, and as soon as their parents age out, die and all that stuff, then the new crop of people think we're God.
Oh, that reminds me of the book 1984. What they did in that society is they would brainwash the children, and then the children would watch the parents.
There you go.
And you turn the children against the parents.
There you got it. I mean, that's
like an added layer of defense.
That's as easy as it is. I mean, that's it, plain and simple. So then the three of us, we have our set things, and we put out our set doctrine, the way we want it to be. And here is the linchpin. We make it so close to the Christian doctrine. It's so fucking close. The only difference is we're basically God. And through loving each other, you love God. And us, obviously. And through killing the outsiders, you are protecting your loved ones, and you're protecting God because your loved ones are as God.
Yep.
Damn it, I'm good. I can start a cult today, everybody.
It'd be a lot harder because people still have access to information.
Yeah, I mean,
it works better when people don't have access to, like, the actual Bible.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the reason this one would work is because the internet would be probably completely turned off.
You know what's really weird, guys? You pretty much just, like, described every kid in America in school these days.
Hey, you know what? We're learning from the best, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I mean, after, like, say, 10 years of that shit, if we're still alive, then we'll be all right. Because, like,
we'll be okay.
If it goes wrong, it'll go wrong in, like, the first year or two. And after that, we're pretty much golden.
Well, what happens with children is once they're, like, aged 8, their belief system is, like, set in concrete. So, like, if we could survive 8 years and train up the next generation...
Yep.
Yeah, it's basically set.
Yep, and we teach all the men how to be men, teach all the ladies how to be ladies, and that's the way we're going to survive it. And we're going to do this. We'll have it. I mean, that's, like, if our dream scenario happens in my way, there's no way... Like, the only thing we would have to worry about, is if somebody else had the exact same idea and we had to go to war with them. Because yeah, go ahead.
Well, not even if they have the same idea, it's just having to fight off like an opposing faction.
Right.
Would be kind of dangerous.
Right, but then we would also have we would have our elite soldiers. We're going to call them cherubs. We're going to teach them all how to snipe. Yeah.
I don't really know a whole lot about sniping, though.
Do you know how to do trigonometry?
I've forgotten a lot of it. I guess if we had, like, math textbooks, I could figure it out.
Oh, sure. I mean, all it is judging the wind and the gravitational pull of the Earth. That's it. That's essentially that. And then, I mean, they'll get better. If you teach a kid, like, again, 8 years old or whatever, how to fire a rifle and then give them a bigger rifle and a bigger rifle, they'll figure it out. Like, they don't need to do the math. Their brain will do the math. Then it'll be instinct.
Bro.
So, like, there you got it. They don't need to know how to read. They just need to know how to shoot a gun and then love their family. I mean, can you top that, Tony?
I was just talking about, as far as tactical wise, where it would be a better place to be is compared to Iowa than Minnesota.
Why is Minnesota better than Iowa?
Well, because you're going to have more sparsely, like, communities out there.
In Minnesota?
Very, very sparse. Yeah. Which will give you different areas that you can concentrate on. You're going to have a lot more wood. That's for sure.
He does have a point.
That is true, but my point is, it gets a hell of a lot colder in northern Minnesota.
Well, not necessarily, because right now it was like 32, and it was colder down in southern Minnesota right now, and even in Iowa today because just of a clipper storm. So it's the misconception where Minnesota's a frozen tundra for all of winter is really, I'd say we probably get maybe 2 weeks of bad cold.
Okay. Well,
would Iowa even be the best choice? Because, like, would there be better choices in, like, America?
Well,
you just think about the food up here. I mean, we got tons of deer up here.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Well, let's be fair. Cows are slow and stupid, and there are tons of those in Iowa.
Well, yeah, but that's true. But, I mean, it seems like cows usually need a lot of attention in order to reproduce and to go from cow to, like, hamburger is kind of a big deal.
Not if they're running free. They'll break out of those pens before too long. It doesn't take them that long to figure it out.
Well, cows are, like you said, they're kind of dumb, where deer have already been established where they're wild.
I suppose.
There's deer, bear, grouse.
Okay.
Just a lot of...
All right, here's a brain gasm. What we do is we set up in Minnesota. That's our first base camp. As we get established, we can branch out down Minnesota. We can just take over the whole Minnesota territory.
Well, see, there you go.
That's that's not bad. And then that's almost where I was talking about. Like northwestern Iowa and southwestern Minnesota are in the same spot, so it's fine.
Well, how big do we want to get, though? Because, like, the bigger we get, the more difficult it will be to manage the people, though.
Well, we don't need a lot of people. We just manage the territory.
Like, I guess if we start small and, like, have a bunch of true believers, and then we, like, kind of have the true believers, like, start settlements.
Right, like that's the way you do that. It's not going to be a quick thing, Mike. We're going to start where we are for the first probably 10, 15 years. And then after that 15 years, that's when the first wave of kids will start to hit. And we'll be like, oh, you got to have a lot of kids because we got to have some workers out here. Like, we don't have any, it's the apocalypse. We don't have any more kids' rights anymore. They're tiny adults. That's the way it's got to be. Sorry, kids.
If everybody's having a bunch of kids, population will grow pretty quickly.
Right, but here's the one thing: pedophilia. If you're a pedophile, if you like, oh yeah, I had sex with kids. If you're having sex with kids, we're gonna kill you hard. Like our death penalties will be real bad.
It'll be like, oh, you did that? Oh, bang, right in the head.
Yeah, we're gonna teach the kids like how to spot them.
That's right. How to spot them, and then whichever kid they touched in a bad way gets the first cut.
No, I guess John Lockhart's out of that equation.
So that's at least my dream scenario for the viral apocalypse. If it's like a large meteor, we're dead because it'll send dust and it'll be an ice age. We figured it out probably, but Japan, we're dead. Let's see here. If it's anything like a nuclear thing, we're dead. Radiation will kill us.
If it was a zombie apocalypse, I think it'd be even easier to set up a cult.
Oh yeah, zombie apocalypse would be if you can survive the first 48 hours of a zombie apocalypse to get out of the town and all that. I mean, you're pretty much set. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, well, and then you could say, oh, this is like God's judgment and stuff.
Oh yeah, you can say that for the virus too. That's easy.
True.
You can say that for anything.
It'd be easier for the zombie apocalypse though, because then you could argue, oh, it could only be like the hand of God. Because,
that's right.
Scientifically, zombies don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Right, and the dead are, hell is too full, so they're reincarnating the dead bodies and all that, and those are the non-believing sinners who, this writes itself, Mike. We're on to something.
Yeah.
All right, well, do you have anything else on the agenda, or are we going to keep on this?
I mean, do we need anything else?
I think we pretty much got fully covered.
I think we got most of the details covered.
Now, here's I got one bone to pick with the prepper, the Doomsday Preppers on the different channels. Their Doomsday scenarios all have to be perfect. Like, if one tiny thing happens in those Doomsday Preppers that they don't plan for, the rest of their plan is gone.
Right, exactly.
Like, my favorite dudes...
We got a big, huge SUV all here filled up, and we're going to load it on up within, 15 minutes and then go to our bunker.
Right.
What if the virus is in your bunker? Or what if some zombies are in your bunker?
Well, my favorite one is, I haven't actually watched the show in its entirety. I've seen, bits and pieces, but there was one lady who was, she was 250 pounds or 300 pounds, and she was like, yeah, when the apocalypse happens, I'll have an entire extra week's worth of food already on me. Yeah, but you won't be able to run, and all your stuff will be gone when you get shot in the head.
David, I think that's more of a straw man argument.
Well, she's a straw man argument. Or
I saw one of the Doomsday Preppers where it was a bigger lady, but her whole house from top to bottom was filled up full of the 48-hour the food packs where to the point where they're having a hard time moving around in the house.
Did she have any firearms?
No.
Okay, so at that point...
She said she was going to bargain with food.
Yeah, at that point, it's just you run into one person who realizes you don't have a gun. Congratulations, you just went shopping for the guy who has a gun.
Yep.
That's exactly what that is. Is it just you guys here in this house? Yeah. Oh, so what are you guys doing? I know how Midwesterners talk. So what are you guys doing for, protecting yourself? Oh, we got a knife over there by the door. That it? Yep. Bang! Thanks for your food, Dick. My food. That's as quick as that would go. Yep. And all these people have these grandiose plans, it's definitely going to be their apocalypse, and it's definitely going to be their plan that works. One of my favorite ones is out in Idaho. There's a dude who buried, I think it's 4 or 5 school buses in a hillside. He buried them pretty far deep, and he hollowed them all out, and he made a giant bunker for whatever happens in Idaho.
Huh.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't know if that hillside would protect you from a nuclear or whatever, but all right. I don't know how thick those school buses metal is. I doubt it'll shield from a lot of radiation. You'd have to line that shit in like lead and something, and at that point you're just poisoning yourself. So, also his ventilation system was like, if there's more dust on that hill than he's planning for, he's going to suffocate. There's no if about it. So, one of those like interesting, like, in his mind he definitely has this thing in the bag.
Well, and he still needs to have access to like fuel.
Right. Well, he doesn't have them to drive. He has them to live in.
No, I mean like say he has a generator for electricity. Well, he still needs like gas and stuff for like.
Right, and if he has that generator, where is that generator going to be firing? Because, say that again. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Well, or like even like wood for keeping warm, and he'd still have to like depending on how long he's prepared to stay there, he'd still have to like leave at some point to get more supplies and stuff. Right,
but he couldn't even have like a wood burning stove because the carbon dioxide would kill him.
Yeah.
So he's basically dead before he's even in there. He just doesn't know it. That's the funny part. All these people, like, oh man, we're all gonna die, and this is my way that's gonna win it. I mean, it's a fun hobby. I'm not gonna knock that as a hobby. Everybody needs one. It's fun to keep your mind occupied with. If the apocalypse doesn't happen, then you have a good snack bag.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably ways to plan around all that stuff and deal with it, but at that point, it's just like you have to basically prepare for every single eventuality, and like you said before, if something goes wrong, it just kind of throws a wrench in everything.
Right, but the ones that make me so happy are the ones that are so certain of their plan being the one. I'm like, no, that's not the way that goes. God, I mean, that fate just happens. Whatever happens, happens, right? So, I mean, the ones who are going to end up winning that, like, you think there are psychopaths right now, sociopaths right now, the level of psycho and sociopaths would rise exponentially.
Yep.
Sociopaths... Go ahead.
Any guy who has to protect his family is going to find himself becoming a sociopath pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fun part is, in a psychological standpoint, psychopaths will be able to do more shit without feeling it. Sociopaths will last longer, theoretically. Because, for those of you who don't know, the difference between a psychopath and a psychopath has absolutely no moral compass, has no feeling. He's absolutely detached from being a person. A sociopath does have a moral compass. All right, they have a very specific, skewed moral compass that's not like ours generally, but it's finite. Like, if anybody's watched that new Sherlock Holmes with Benedict Cumberbatch, that's a sociopath. He has a moral code. He has a moral compass. He knows the difference between right and wrong, but his version of right and wrong is not the same as ours. Okay? And they can both, I think they can both be created, but sociopaths are easier to create, I think. But the reason that a sociopath will potentially last longer is because a psychopath will eventually cause resentment in whoever he's taking over, and then they'll die. Sociopath will actually cause inspiration in whoever they're leading to let them fight more. If you want a good version of a real-life sociopath, look at Hernan Cortez, who took his men into South America. He was a sociopath. He had a goal, and whatever he had to do to get that goal was what he did. And his men were behind him 100%, because he was very loyal to his men, not to anybody else at all. Anybody that was even hinting beyond his men was fucked.
I think the important distinction, though, is like a sociopath can empathize with people like he chooses to. Like he can form like a tight-knit group.
Right.
And then like everybody who's outside the group is just like the enemy and needs to be destroyed.
Right. That's the
old psychopath.
Yeah.
I think a psychopath kind of like will probably like see everybody as an enemy.
Right. So
or at least a tool that they can use.
Right. The sociopath is the ultimate in-group, out-group, and the psychopath is a lone wolf, essentially. I mean, they could play along, but eventually they'll do something that they're not supposed to, and they don't realize it because they're a psychopath.
Speaking of sociopaths, we've been playing a new game, haven't we?
That's right. Speaking of a sociopathic mentality, we've been playing Fortnite lately. This is a hard transition, but thank you, Tony.
Yeah, do my best.
Yeah, how's Fortnite for you guys?
I would put it... This is what I think of the game myself. I would put it as... These guys like Borderlands a lot. And it feels Borderlandish. Good concept. I mean, I like how long the game lasts as far as the Royal Battle. I mean, you can play a ton of games in a night if you wanted to. A lot of different techniques you can do. My one complaint about the game, the only one complaint I have about the game is the keyboard layout. They could have done a lot better with that. Like a lot better. It doesn't seem well thought out. But as far as gameplay goes and all that stuff, I think it's a pretty darn fun game.
All right, and we should let everybody know, Fortnite is in beta, so they're still kind of working it all out, work in progress and all that. But yeah, we're laying it out. At least I'm agreeing with Tony that the keyboard setup is a little bit wonky. Like I've mixed mine around a little bit to make it a little bit more wieldy, so to speak. So I get where he's going with that. Oh, and that's the game that got us on the mindset of the apocalypse type stuff. So hey, Mike, how do you think about Fortnite?
Well, I've only used the keyboard for like a little bit. But like when I did, I didn't really have too much of an issue with the layout.
Oh, do you play with controller more?
I started using the controller just because I didn't want to like. It's just a lot more comfortable.
Okay.
I wanted to be kind of casual about. I mean, I think aiming isn't really super important in this game. It's more of like you need to be tactical. Like if you can surprise your enemy, then aiming isn't like a really big deal because they're not gonna be able to react until it's too late anyway.
All right, and we should also say that this game is the gameplay for the most part is basing off of it's battle arena, like a battle royal style where you got 100 people and it whittles down to one, or you can have groups or duos. And it's based mainly off of the PlayerUnknown's Battleground, but this is a little bit more, where PlayerUnknown's Battleground seems more realistic in the art style and the mechanics of it. This is a little bit more cartoony and a little more, a little sillier, but it's still fun.
Right.
Still fun.
That's why I'm saying, like, it reminds me of Borderlands a lot.
Yeah, it's really fun. You can kind of get in, get out. You're gonna die. There's no like learning curve at all. It's a very steep one, is what I'm saying. You could plan all you want. You could get all the sweetest guns on the planet, and you could still get one shot in the head by a pistol from who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Some dude from Thailand's gonna beat your ass, and you can't stop him.
Yeah, you just kind of have to try to place yourself in the best position and just hope that someone else is in a better position than you.
Right.
And, what's really funny is I was listening to Friday sports show. They did an interview with a football player. I forget his name. I'm not too much into sports. I don't even know why I have the station on. It's more just background noise. But one of the football players was saying he played Fortnite and he likes playing it because it's pretty competitive and this and that. I'm like, and the guy was even there going like, wow, so you play video games and stuff like that, and blah blah. Is there any chance you can like whatever? It's like, I was just amazed that
Hang on. I want that guy to die in a fire. I swear to God, he does that all the time.
Who's that?
Some jackass on a motorcycle. He'll do that, and I know he might just be driving, but his engine is the loudest goddamn thing on the planet. And he'll do that at 1 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep. Oh. Alright, we're going to cut around that part. Go ahead.
All right.
Start the sports.
Do
the sports thing.
Okay, well, the one thing about Fortnite where I was into a sports show, and one of the football players, an NFL, I guess a major NFL football player, plays Fortnite. And he does it in his spare time for fun. So that might be another thing, too, is like, there's no telling who plays this game. I thought that was pretty interesting. He likes it for the competitive aspect and all that other stuff. And he went into other games where people are, making good money or whatever. It was interesting to hear a guy, a professional NFL player saying, yeah, I play Fortnite and, this and that. And there's people that can make money out of it and blah, blah, if you're good, just competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems like a very kind of easy game for people to kind of hop on and just get into gaming.
Right, and
yeah.
I think there's enough.
Complex.
I think there's enough room in the game to be skillful enough that, there are probably already leagues for it being formed for who can win the most games, who can win the fastest, all that stuff.
Well, I bet as soon as the game probably comes out, as a full release, it'll probably just instantly have an esports aspect to it.
Oh yeah,
probably.
There's no doubt to it. So all right,
iron all the bugs out.
Right, there are still a few. I got kicked off earlier just for no fucking reason. I'm still a little bit pissy about it.
You pissed off?
Not a little pissy.
Pissed off there?
I'm not pissed off. It's pissy. There's a difference. I'm not angry.
Well, it's barely, pissed off and pissed
Go
off.
fuck yourself. I knew what you were doing. I wasn't biting.
I love you, Fox. You're awesome.
Yeah. Actually, I'm rethinking the anarchy. The apocalypse plan. It might only have room for 2 of us all of a sudden. Tony?
Don't worry. He'll be all good up here.
Yeah, our factual
gave you all
goes
your
up against
master
yours.
plan, and I wrote it down, so it's all good.
You know what's fun is I just changed my master plan. You don't even realize what's going to happen.
Well, the thing about our master plan though is even if you know it, it doesn't mean you can't. Doesn't mean you can replicate it though.
Right, and you can't stop it. You don't know the Bible like Tony does, or you don't know the Bible like Mike does, and you don't have the talking ability of me. All we have to do is find a dude who's good at building shit. My dad's good at that.
I'll just put blue paint on my face and call myself Brave Fart.
And then
you do that, then Tony.
You go right ahead, buddy. We'll be over in our place that we're not going to tell you. We'll be over in We'll be over in 39.03 degrees north, 125.76 degrees east, and you won't even find us.
I'm sure I
think
won't.
About it, my roommate used to do construction.
There we go. So we already got someone to replace you, Tony.
Oh, jeez. Well, there we go.
This is how we work. Actually, our plan was for Mike and I to be the only 2 irreplaceable people. So, in case we needed a scapegoat, you were it. You're actually a goat. So, it can't come as a surprise. If it turns out someone's like, "Oh no, these 3 are actually trying to sneak us," we would set you up as being the bad guy, so we're in the clear.
Okay.
It doesn't matter now because you're already out. So.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm out of the circle of trust there, huh?
It's triangle. It was a triangle because there's 3.
Circle.
Not a
See,
circle.
this is my. Yep. Okay.
That's why you're out. You don't understand the basic geometry of it.
Like 10 people would be a circle.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to give you the following news. One Mr. Morgan Freeman has been abducted by a large pack of gummy bears. He was last spotted being dragged into a windowless van headed south towards Mexico. If you see this pack of gummy bears, do not engage. They are considered armed and extremely delicious. So, if you see them, run, hide, call the police, and stay out of sight. Godspeed, Mr. Freeman. Godspeed. We return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Hey there, are you a man who's unhappy with their life? Are you sick of women overlooking you for stronger, better men? Are you tired of hearing friend zone all the time from ladies around the world? Hi, I'm Dave the Fox, and this is the Lollicasters Guide to answer these simple questions. And if you follow our instructions, you will be well on your way to a better you. Mike, what do you got for the first step?
Alright, step 1. Stop eating anything with soy. It has estrogen. It'll turn you into a crying, weeping chick who disgusts women everywhere, and you also grow boobies.
But I love my ice cream mocha soy frappe with unicorn cum.
You know what, boy? Grow some balls. Men eat meat. And it sounds like you need a fuckload of beef in you right now. He sounds like a level 5 bitch that anyone would hate to be around.
Oh, I sure would. He sounds really annoying.
You know, go learn how to fix something. It doesn't matter what it is. The simple feeling of knowing how to repair something will revive that part in your brain that reminds you that you do actually have some testicles. You know, the little balls and berries.
But I don't want my hands to get all ewy.
I'm not sure what you just said, but I'm pretty sure it's something a man would say with no balls.
Yeah, sounds like a chick to me. Oh, by the way, rule 3. If you ever actually do get into an intimate situation, it is okay to take your time. There's no rush. It's not a race. You have all the time in the world to get down to business, and that way you can both ask each other questions, test each other's boundaries. It won't stop anything if she's really into you, and if you're really into her, whatever's going to happen will happen. All right?
But the ladies just love my patented claw technique, so I like to lead with that one.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Just, you know what? Just get out. Get out right now. Go. Go. All right? Okay, guys. These days, men are becoming women, or even worse, they're becoming children. All right? People are trying to turn men into children. You're not a child. You're not a 5-year-old. You're a grown goddamn man. So it's really simple. Wipe your own ass. Pay your fucking bills. And absolutely never, ever do the claw to anyone. I don't care who it is. Alright? That doesn't work for anyone. Alright? This is David the Fox and the Lollygaggers crew saying, it's okay to be a man. Alright? Go ask a lady what they want. If they want another woman, they'll turn to a lesbian. That's fine. That's okay. But if they want you to be a man, if they want men, they want you to act like a fucking man. Alright? Quit fucking crying Don't paint your goddamn nails. Get a job. Take care of your life. All right? Thank you, and God fucking bless. All right, so what do you guys think? That's some pretty good advice for all those dudes out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially lately with, well, giving the claw, I guess, is probably not a good idea.
Hey, you'd be surprised how many dudes think that's their opener. So, just...
Well, you know what my opening line is for a woman? If I ever go to a bar and I want to pick them up, I say, hey,
no, don't do it.
shoes.
Don't you fucking do it. We're
Nice
trying to
shoes,
give... No. No. We're trying to
That's
give
what I
good...
said.
No, we're trying to give good advice.
That is good advice.
No, it isn't.
Okay, fine.
That's why I stopped you. That's why I interrupted you there. So anyway, speaking of interruptions, I got to interrupt us right now. We need to get into some jaw jacking. Let's see. Where's my...
Oh, boy.
Oh, I missed... Oh, there it is. Yeah, let's get into some jaw jacking. Today, hang on everybody.
Jaw jacking.
There we are. This is the show where we take a completely neutral subject that doesn't really matter, and we argue whether it is Democrat or Republican. Okay? So it could be anything. It has to be neutral. So it could be something like a cloud, and we'd have to argue whether it's Democrat or Republican based on just that. Today I'm the moderator because I argued the last 2 weeks. That means today our debaters are Tony and Mike. I will give the choice.
I'm a master debater.
Okay, thank you. That's a masturbating joke, everybody. Let's ask Tony. Would you like to be Republican or Democrat?
I'll be Republican, and that wasn't a joke. I am the master debater.
Well, you've lost to me before, so. Anywho.
You're just
Alright,
more vigorous.
So Tony is the Republican. That means Mike is the Democrat. Alright. We need to flip a coin to see who goes first.
Let Mike call it. I'll let Mike call it.
Okay,
I'm a good Republican.
Sure you are. I'm sure you are.
I'm fair to everyone and very just to everyone.
Okay, so...
Taking pity on
Alright, so Mike,
Mike Neal early there.
call it in the air. Heads or tails?
Head.
Alright, it is heads. So would you like to go first or second?
Second.
Second. Okay. I have not told you guys a subject. I'm sorry.
I will always go second if I can.
Okay. Alright.
As a true Democrat would.
Alrighty. So let's think here. The subject of today is... let's see. Last week we did weather. So this week, the subject of today is shelter.
Is shelter Republic? Okay.
Is shelter, for example, a tent, a house, a camper, shelter. Is that Democrat or Republican? I believe, Tony, you are first.
Okay. Well, shelter is very Republican because Republicans take care of everyone. They give them a good shelter and good stability. And it's pretty much just really all there is to it is Republicans will take care of you. We will do everything right. We will make sure everything's all good. Shelter you. Clothe you. Give you drinking water if you need it. Pretty much give you whatever you need to live and survive. Shelter. The good old yummy feeling inside your little cockles and your bellies. Not to mention, it's just, Republicans, I think, invented shelters. I think they actually did invent shelters in the first place for the homeless people. And so, therefore, it's just a no-brainer. Republicans invented shelters, and Republicans will shelter you. That's pretty much all I got to really say about that. It's
All
pretty
right.
straightforward.
Okay, sure. Mike, your counter.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, shelters are for protecting people and stuff, but you know, like if you're on the Republican side, shelter's only for white people, but for the Democrats, shelter's for everybody. You know,
That's
anybody can use shelter.
You're being a racist, sir.
Excuse me, Tony.
no,
Excuse me. Would you please let the man finish?
All right. So fine.
Shelters are supposed to make you feel safe, and you know, Democrats are all about making people safe.
Say that again. Mike. Mike, can you say that entire argument again?
From where?
From like right after I stopped talking until when I started. They help you stay safe, I think is.
Oh yeah, shelters are for making people safe, and you know, Democrats are all about making people feel safe. You know, we like to, you know, structure society around making people feel safe, or, you know, for everybody. And you know who also really need shelter? Refugees. You know, we need to bring the refugees over here and give them shelter and make sure that they feel safe and comfort.
Is that all you got?
Yep.
All right, Tony, counter that.
Well, for one, I guess he forgot to mention if he was a Democrat provided shelter that they would just abuse women, because Democrats are pretty bad about abusing women. So therefore, it's just yeah. You know, as far as our shelter goes, everyone's welcome to. I think it's my turn there, Mr. Mike. Allegation boy.
Yes, Mike.
Here.
Yes, Mike. Fair is fair. You gotta let Tony finish.
Well, what I'm saying here is, Republicans invented shelters for everyone. Everyone's welcome to shelter, as long as they don't kill other people in the shelter. That's the whole deal. I mean, we don't allow killing of people in our own shelters. That's just not good practice. Maybe you do in your democratic shelters, but not us. We keep everyone safe in our shelters, and really have a mindset of being nice to women too in our shelters. Not like you guys over there. I'm pretty sure you've invited every freaking pope or whoever they're. You know, it's just no. We're not allowing it. You know, our shelters are better than your shelters. We invented shelters. That's all there is to it, Mike.
All right. Rebuttal.
Well, I mean, we don't kill people over here, you know, and we're not sexist towards women. You know, we treat everybody equal over here. But anyways, back to the main topic. You know, I think cavemen are really the people who invented shelter. You know, because you know it's in their name, cave. And you know, caveman society back in the day was
Mr. Moderator, can I please interrupt him? He's put in fake news there, right there, because he was saying the cavemen invented the cave, and that's a natural formation.
No, I didn't say they
nature.
invented the cave. I'm saying they invented the using of the cave as shelter.
I'm going to allow this.
Cavemen.
Getting pretty sketchy there.
I'm going to allow this, Tony.
Fake news.
But anyways, caveman society was fairly democratic because, you know, it was a hunter-gatherer society, and everybody, you know, they all worked hard, and they all shared the resources together because, you know, if they didn't all work together, then they wouldn't survive. And, you know, sharing between everybody and everybody being equal, that's what a democratically run society would be like. That's all I got.
All right, Tony, your rebuttal.
My rebuttal is this: well, fine. If you guys are a bunch of cavemen, I'm sure you just, well, here we go again. You just drag women by the hair in your cave and then assault them. And that's pretty much how you guys do your stuff. So, you know, if you guys are truly cavemen, fine. I mean, that's the shelters you got. We got nice, sophisticated shelters. We have ones with running water,
No, I
bathroom.
didn't say that cavemen were the ideal democratic society. I was saying
I
that
think
they
you're
invented
interrupting
shelter.
me now.
You know,
I think the
I
Democrats
would
trying to.
condemn the cavemen for being misogynist, patriarchal
Well,
society.
it seems like you're being racist, stereotypish about the cavemen there. Typical of Democrats, just typical. It's all right.
No,
I'm
I
sure.
can't.
I mean, it's all violent behavior that you want in your shelters. So, we don't want that in our shelter. We want people like working with each other under safe environments and with water, food, and resources, stuff that people would be sheltered by. So, if you guys want to just drag any old willy-nilly old lady into your cave and do whatever with them, yeah, that's usually that's kind of your guys' way anyway. So I guess you guys are kind of used to it. So that said, there, Mr. Moderator, yeah, I mean it's you guys are probably like bad enough to just give them a claw in the face or something, just like rah. And it's just you cavemen guys.
No.
I tell you that. Yeah, whatever.
Do not,
okay,
do not give our women the claw. We treat our women with respect.
If respect is like dragging them by the hair into your cave and then assaulting them,
No, that's what cavemen do.
Oh, well, you just said you guys were cavemen here.
No, I said that cavemen.
It's on the audio.
I said that caveman society was like a
it's
democratic
on
society,
the
but
audio.
I didn't say it was
you
perfect.
said you guys were cavemen.
No, you're just putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No, because I never said we were. I never said that we were a caveman. I said we were that caveman society.
Like a caveman society.
Similar.
Like a caveman.
To democratic socialism.
Yeah.
You're the one acting like a caveman. You're not getting the point that I'm trying to make here.
No. You said you guys were similar to cavemen, so that's being just similar in itself. I mean, and in that sense too is like even referring to someone as a caveman is pretty racist.
I could just keep repeating myself, but I guess it's just not making my point to Mr. Caveman over there.
Well, okay, I got to cut you off there, Tony. Great argument there. We need the closing from, I believe, Mike.
Okay, well, just to kind of summarize my point, shelters are, they're like inanimate, they don't discriminate against race. Everybody can use them to be comfortable and safe. And, we need to work hard as a society to make sure that everybody has a shelter, not just the white people over here in America, but we need to bring shelter to the refugees over in Syria and make sure that they're taken care of too. Because that's the true American thing to do, is just to make sure that everybody has shelter and is comfortable, safe from the Republicans. That's all I got.
All right, Tony. I guess you're closing.
All right. Well, my closing would be, we're not okay, cavemen. We allow safe people into our shelters. Safe people. We pretty much give them food, water, and they need to actually endure life and enjoy life. And we do not disrespect women, drag them by hair into caves, and assault them and kill them, and whatever the Democrat people would do. But we just don't do that. We're a nice bunch of folk over here. And hey, if someone from overseas wants to come to our shelter, they're more than happy to come on over. They just simply have to go through a few steps that everyone else had to go through. I mean, we're not picking anyone else out there. We're just trying to make sure our shelter is safe. As far as the plans for the Republican Party is to actually turn America into one big house and a shelter, and we could probably carry that off here. We'll probably make China pay for probably Canada because whatever. But that's just all there is to it. It's that's why we invented shelters. I mean, if you look it up on Wikipedia, we invented it. So I think you have no reason to even claim or even be part of this conversation, Mr. Democrat. Back to you, Mr. Moderator.
All right. Let's see here. Let me take a couple minutes to think about your arguments. Go ahead and I guess talk amongst yourselves.
So how's it going there, Mike? Pretty good?
Yeah, I think that was went well.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Do you drag women into caves that often?
No.
Are you sure?
I mean, I wouldn't tell you.
No, I'm pretty scared. I mean, have you watched 50 Shades of Cave?
Okay. I guess I'm back. I've just been standing in this room while you were saying that, so that feels a little weirder than I figured it would. But I think the winner is Tony today.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
and the reason is because fuck Canada. Like, yeah.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, seriously.
Blame Canada.
Those snow monkeys can just go eat a dick. So fuck Canada.
That's racist.
America's #1. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So you had a close argument there, Mike. It's just you got off a little bit on the whole. You were following Tony too much on that caveman thing. So couldn't give it to you there. Sorry.
All right.
But I mean, that's just my opinion. Like, what does America think? What do you guys around the world think? Listening to Lolligaggers, who won? Was it Tony and his argument about how houses are invented by Republicans, or Mike's, who says that all houses are for everybody, just not only whites? So, what do you think? Also, do you think Canada should fuck off? I do. So
No,
I do.
beady freaking eyes.
yeah, fucking snow monkeys. Swear to God. Anyway,
Snow monkeys.
it's not even my thing. There's a comedian, Owen Benjamin, who came up with snow monkeys. It's really funny. So
That's why I might have to look that up. I kind of thought, snow monkeys. Okay.
it's super duper funny, and I just had to use it somewhere in there. So, and by the way, if any Canadians or anybody who is adjacent to a Canadian is put off by what I just said about snow monkeys and how they should go fuck off and die, you can meet us over at 39.03 degrees north, 125.76 degrees east. Come and get us, I guess. Like, we'll be waiting.
Yep.
All right. So we're going to close this sucker out. Let's get into the moral of today. How about it? So,
Well, I guess the moral of the day is never make a metaphor with Dave, because he'll try to trick you in a metaphor, and he'll metaphor you, and be kind of like with Star Wars with midichlorians, but it'll be metaphorians. So, you take care, sir, and that's the moral of the day.
all right. That was very intelligible. I will edit this so that makes sense. All right. Mike, your moral of the day.
Well, the eye is like the lamp of the soul, and if it's full of darkness, then you're fucked.
All right. So if you're blind, you're fucked.
Sure, that's one way to interpret it.
That's the way it sounded. I mean, if you're blind, it's pretty tough. I'd follow that. Anywho,
Wait a second. Mike, so is that pretty much it? Oh, I suppose we should ask Dave if he wants to do moral of the day. Dave, do you want to do moral of the day?
I guess I could.
Hey, what do you think, Mike? Should we let him?
I mean, I think he was about to tell us anyways.
Oh, he was? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break in.
That's okay. Moral of the day is, if there's ever an apocalypse and the three of us make it to the top of whatever hierarchical society that we find ourselves in, we'll kill Tony first. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Please like. Say that again, Mike.
Just like we do in StarCraft.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dicks.
All right, so make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Y'all take care now, you hear?
Seriously, go fuck yourself, Tony.